a lot of us are divorced, and there are so many mistakes that we make after a divorce, trying to get out there and finding love again. That's what I want to talk with you about today. Thank you so much for joining us again on Second Act TV. I'm so happy to welcome back April Beyer, the CEO and founder of Level Connections, a professional matchmaking firm. In fact, you've been a professional matchmaker for over 25 years, dating coach, relationship expert, and we're so lucky to have you here again, April. Thanks for being here again.
Oh, I love being with you. Always. Thank you.
Well, we always love having you. You are full of fantastic information that is so important for our audience right now who, well, a lot of us are divorced, and there are so many mistakes that we make trying to get out there and finding love again. That's what I want to talk with you about today. Some of the common mistakes, I believe you've outlined like 5 common mistakes that we need to be aware of. And the number one here is what you say: avoiding personal growth and responsibility. What exactly do you mean by that?
Well, personal growth is like any kind of growth. It hurts. It hurts to look in the mirror and do that soul searching and that deep dive. And I find a lot of people, they seek out therapy when they are considering divorce. They might be working through their divorce with a therapist or a mediator, but a lot of people stop. They stop short of continued growth, right? They think that now that that divorce is done, they no longer need to seek that coach or that therapist. And I say, what a beautiful opportunity to do that deep dive and self-reflection, to own your mistakes, own your choices, right? Because our choices give us this sense of responsibility. So I'm not saying that you have a divorce, it's your fault, but we did choose these people. Right. So we have to look back. Who was I when I chose this person? Have I grown since then? Do I have a different set of needs and requirements at this stage of my life? Because unless we learn, what was my part in this? Even if it was just the choice, which I call the diving board, that's big, because that means that if you own your responsibility, you're empowered and you have knowledge and strength. So therefore, you know that you will not make that mistake again, not because you're avoiding people, but because you have that really solid knowledge within yourself.
I mean, you just nailed it. That is the number one mistake that I see too in my limited experience is that people don't take responsibility, or it's always everybody else's fault, which we've done segments on red flags, and that, I mean, if you never take responsibility, it's huge, and it's a big mistake. So, well, and then mistake number 2 kind of leads into that, is not building your community.
Well, women, I think us as women, I think we're really good at community. For the most part, women don't shut themselves down and away from everyone. We are really good at building our network, our community, our friends and colleagues. And unfortunately, a lot of men have their community and friends through their wife. So when that marriage is done, they're left with maybe only a couple of friends. And those may not be the friends that you want on your side when you start to, heal, venture back out into the dating space again. So the community isn't just about what you've established. It's about who's the new community, because people might know you through that relationship. There might be, we've all been there, right? Where there's a friend that's kind of still, we don't know where where the loyalty is, where we can't really necessarily, if we were all friends, we can't open up to those people because they like the wife or the husband just as much as they like you.
Yeah, I have some really strong feelings around that with the
Do
friends thing.
you?
And this is a Silka opinion, so I'm not trying to give advice here. The friends have to choose one or the other. I think a true friend anyway. There's peripheral friends that maybe you can both remain friends with. But I don't know, even that, I don't really think is possible, because it's not genuine. It's not authentic. Again, this is me talking, but what I've observed and what I've experienced, but you get your own Get your own group together, get your own community. Some of that will be your old long-standing friends, as it was in my case, but lots of my new community was different.
Well, if you think about it, what you experienced, right? You didn't feel that sense of ease or that trust. And also, did you notice when you were going through your divorce that sometimes you weren't invited to things anymore?
Yes, yes. I though I kind of kept I took myself out of it. So maybe the reason I feel so strongly is because I didn't want to have anything to do with a lot of
Oh,
the previous groups either. And maybe I shouldn't state my opinion so harshly. To me, I couldn't. It wasn't authentic being around people who still supported my ex-husband, and we had an
mm.
amicable divorce, that which is the funny part, that this wasn't a bad divorce, but I just didn't feel like that we're all still in the same friends group.
And that's interesting because you're allowed to update your friends. You know, we
Mm-hmm.
don't date the same people we've met 30, 40 years ago. Why should you also think that friendships are forever? Because if you think about it, the men that don't build their team and
Mm-hmm.
their community, they come to me and they say, find me love, but there is a certain level of desperation.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we're on the stopwatch to find love.
Mm-hmm.
And what's really happening is they don't have anybody to go do things with because all of their friends were part of the couple. And suddenly they think that every outlet for emotional connection is through dating.
Yeah.
And if you build your team, and this is for men and women, if you build your friend circle, you're still going to want to date, but you're not going to have any desperation to you because you're being fed on an emotional level. You're getting connecting going on
Mm-hmm.
all throughout your week. So when a
Mm-hmm.
date comes around, it's like a yes and, as opposed to walking through the desert and you're starving and you're thirsty and somebody comes around with the
Yeah.
first glass of water and the first piece of bread and you think that's your person, right?
Point three here. Looking for love too soon. Boy, that's a big mistake.
Yes, a lot of people equate dating with love. It is not. So thinking about dating again is different than I want love. So what I hear a lot is, well, you know, I want to be able to get up in the morning and, you know, when I say, what do you want? Well, I want to get up and, you know, sit with my person and we're having coffee, we're looking out the window and we're reading the paper and there's this quiet in the house. And, but they're basically describing the marriage of 20, 30 years and the comfort
Mm-hmm.
level that they had.
Mm-hmm.
Because as human beings, we don't like discomfort.
Mm-hmm.
So dating means you're going to be connecting with people and
Mm-hmm.
meeting new people, but you don't necessarily have to have love. Going
Mm-hmm.
back to our point one and point two, if you're doing a really good job of taking care of yourself, working on your personal growth, building your community, you already have love. You have self-love from your personal growth, and you have community love from your friends. And so therefore, you're not really in that attachment to love because that will come naturally. So you don't want to look for love. No one should look for love. Whether
Mm-hmm.
it's your first time getting married or you're looking for your second marriage, don't look for love because what you look for, it like gets out of your reach. What you're
Mm-hmm.
looking for is connection. You're looking
Mm-hmm.
for somebody great to have conversations with, somebody that inspires you, all kinds of things that have nothing to do with that big picture of love and comfort. So we got to
Mm-hmm.
go there first. We can't skip over that period of time.
And I think just a simple addition here is just having fun versus putting all this
Mm,
pressure and expectations on, like you said, on finding love. I mean, that just sounds so ominous. It's yeah, enjoy it, like what you said. Love
yeah.
will come if once you're in that state.
I always say when you're looking for the one, you meet no one.
Oh, I like that. I like
Just
that.
have fun right now. Yes, yes.
Yeah. Well, and that leads us right into your point four here, that we overthink dating and bring all sorts of fears perhaps that are unwarranted, but basically overthinking the whole process. Is that what you meant?
Yes. I mean, how many times have you said or heard, how do I get back out there? And I
Yes.
always put that in quotes because it's such a common phrase people say. And I laugh because I think, what do you mean get out there? There is no out there there. There is only the continuation of your relationship skills. So
Mm-hmm.
if you've been married, you've had a career, you've potentially raised children and family. You are a skilled person in relationship building, period. Dating can't be thought of as this completely separate entity that you all of a sudden have to transform yourself into. It's
Mm-hmm.
those people that make the biggest mistakes. Are there fine-tuning things? Yes, like should you get on a dating app? Should you talk to a
Mm-hmm.
matchmaker? All
Mm-hmm.
that. That's just more pragmatic,
Mm-hmm.
practical, like tools and knowledge that you can get from somebody like me
Mm-hmm.
or another dating coach. But as far as overthinking dating and what it means, it goes
Mm-hmm.
back to stop trying to find love.
Mm-hmm.
Dating is just relating.
Mm-hmm.
Be out there and relate with people. That's
Mm-hmm.
all that it is. So when you have
Mm-hmm.
that, fear and that trepidation of like, oh, I'm going to take the plunge. I think I'm ready
Yeah.
now. It's been 12 months or 18
Yeah.
months. You're going to be experiencing dating in a different way than that person that says, I'm just in continuation. It's not a different
Mm-hmm.
book. It's just another chapter of my life. I know how to talk to people. I know how to have coffee. I know how to eat dinner. That's all that it is, right?
Yeah.
So if
That
you're
is.
transparent, then you're going to be transparent in your dating life, period.
What a great way to look at it. That I don't think I've ever heard it explained like that. Because
I know how to eat.
yeah, yeah. But most articles and most advice does start with, oh, well, dating can be, really overwhelming, or you're almost set up sometimes by the advice that you get for having it be overwhelmed or expecting it to be this big thing when really, as you say, you're just relating, you're really just meeting people.
That's what I don't like about common dating advice.
Mm-hmm.
These people are trying to make dating like this big, big thing that you got to do. This is nothing that you're not used to. The only thing you're not used to if you've been married a long time is you're not used to maybe sharing personal stuff with so many new people,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you have to learn how to practice the sharing of your story and sort of what you want to share. But if you're thinking of every date as a new connection and a potentially new friend, then you're not scared. You're not
Mm-hmm.
nervous. You're not
Mm-hmm.
worried about all of this stuff.
As you just mentioned, we're getting to this, the wearing your divorce. How do you talk about it? What do you share?
To me, wearing your divorce is I can tell that you're divorced, even if we're
Mhm.
not talking about it within 5 minutes. I can tell by your body posture, sort of the way you're dressed, the way you're holding your head, the confidence that you bring to the room, the sorrow that's in your voice. Some people are literally wearing their divorce, and how it mostly manifests is they can't wait to talk about it right out of the gate.
Mhm.
Or, on the other hand, they're avoiding it altogether. And so if you ask them, so, what's your relationship history? And again, a common question is, how long have you been divorced? Which is a terrible question to ask anybody, and I can tell you why. And so sometimes it's the overshare that gets in trouble, and it's also the avoidant. So if you're like, wait,
Mhm.
wait, you know what? When I know you better, I'll tell you my story. That's really inappropriate. I don't know you. That's wearing your divorce. Because if
Mhm.
you were really in command and you really knew your story and embraced your story, you don't have to love it. You have to embrace your story. Somebody
Mhm.
can ask you about your divorce without it setting off all of your alarm bells and running for the hills. It can just be, this is what happened, and
Mhm.
or I chose to get out. We have a difference of values in how we live our lives, and I'm here now, and I'm curious about you. And as we get to know each other better, I'm sure I'll continue to share more, but tonight I want it to be about you. There's a way to learn about someone's qualities without asking about their divorce. So
Mhm.
wearing your divorce is you're just looking for dating to solve the problem and
Mhm.
the hole that your divorce has created. So you're looking for
Mhm.
that person to fill that hole, and you're speaking about your divorce in a way of, well, I've been really hurt before. So,
Mhm.
hey, new person that I've known for about an hour or 2 hours, just know that I'm guarded, I've been
Mhm.
hurt, as if that person is somehow going to step to and make your life better and safer.
Yeah.
When you express your fears and concerns, you can look like you're not in command of your life. And we don't
Mm.
want that, because it's those people that sometimes get emotionally hurt in their dating
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, that really another great point, expressing your feel. Yeah, and again, we're talking about when you first meet someone. Obviously, if you're in a relationship and you need to be able to talk about some of your deep, deep stuff. But when you first meet someone, that's the last thing you want to do is turn them into a therapist, which is what you're doing on some level.
So it's walking that line of transparency and not kind of oversharing too much, because you sharing all your fears and doubts and insecurities and pain from your divorce does not keep you safe. It actually has the opposite effect.
Great. Again, great point. Well, we are running out of time here, April. What haven't we said? Anything you want to add before we wrap this up?
Just about what we just talked about, which is how do you know, when you're ready? So just keep this in mind. It is not the length of your divorce, it's when you're emotionally ready. That's when you should start connecting with other people. Am I emotionally ready to have dinner with somebody, to go see a film, to go listen to some live music, to have lunch or a cup of coffee? If you could say check, yes, yes, yes. Remember, you're not looking for love right now if you're in this new part of your divorce. Am I emotionally ready to go out and be in a neutral sort of mindset so that I can get through that time without worrying about the future or staying in the past?
So yeah, just being in the present. That I was just going to ask
That's
you,
it.
what do you mean by that? Does that mean that you just don't, yeah, you don't sit there and grieve
You're
or
in,
making wedding plans?
yeah, exactly. You're not in the past, you're not in the future, you're in the present. You've done the points that we've talked about. You've done your personal growth journey. That's a journey that never ends, right? We're always in that. You've built your community. You feel great about your friends. You've realized you're not looking for love. You're just out there to connect and relate. You're not talking about your divorce for 50, 60, 70% of your dates. When you can get through that, then you're like, wait a minute. I may not be ready to replace my marriage. I may not be ready to get married again. I may not be ready for any of that. But just because somebody asked you out for a cup of coffee, that doesn't require any readiness. That just requires you to get in the car and go meet that person for a cup of coffee and talk about the people walking by. You're ready for that. Remember, you're human first. You're not wearing this divorce.
Well, let's end it there, April. I love the way you just summed that up. And I'm sure our viewers will get a lot out of this segment, especially if you're fresh into this process. So I will link to all of your information, April, as we usually do. As you've said at the beginning, April is the founder of Level Connections, which is a matchmaking company that sort of bridges the gap, if you will, between traditional matchmaking and online dating. So you work with people a little bit differently, and I'd love for others to experience what you do. So we will link to everything. Look in the show notes. And April, I'm looking so forward to having you back again soon on Second Act TV.
Thank you.